There are nights in the NBA when greatness doesn't just show up. It explodes through every doubt, every weakness, every storyline trying to bury a team. And tonight, in a game the Warriors desperately needed, Stephen Curry delivered one of those performances that remind us why he isn't just a superstar. He's a force rewriting the meaning of longevity, resilience, and competitive fire. Before we get into everything that happened, the drama, the turning points, the rise of unexpected heroes, and the uncomfortable truths Golden State must confront, make sure you subscribe to Golden State Warriors News, drop a like, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our videos. Because what we're about to break down isn't just a performance. It's a moment that could shape the Warriors season. This game wasn't supposed to be about history. It was supposed to be about survival. The Warriors entered Friday night, knowing the road trip had already taken a toll, knowing the pressure was mounting, knowing every mistake now carried playoff consequences. But instead of folding, Golden State showed up with a focus we haven't seen consistently this season. And at the center of it was Stephen Curry, the oldest player on the court, the smallest superstar in the building, and the one who once again carried a franchise on his shoulders. Steph didn't just play well. He tied Michael Jordan's legendary record with his 44th game of 40-plus points after turning 30, a mark that once felt unreachable. But what makes it even more special is this simple truth. Curry isn't slowing down. He's accelerating. He looks prepared not only to break that record, but to shatter it in a way that makes people rethink how long a superstar can dominate. Maybe it was the 46 points he dropped in the previous game. Maybe it was a subtle bounce in his step during warm-ups. Maybe it was a positive momentum surrounding his ongoing shoe deal negotiations, a situation insiders say has given him extra reassurance and motivation. Whatever the reason, there was an energy in his game that felt different, sharp, aggressive, joyful in the way only Steph can be joyful while dropping daggers on defenders 10 inches taller. But the night wasn't perfect, and maybe that's what made it so special. Reality hit early, and it hit hard. Jonathan Kuminga was ruled out with bilateral knee tendinitis. That sentence alone should make any Warriors fan uneasy. He's 22. He's supposed to be the athlete who never wears down, the one who flies above everyone, who absorbs contact like nothing, who represents the next chapter of this franchise. But tendinitis in both knees is a sign you can't ignore. It's a message from the body that something must change. Minutes, workload, rehab, something. For a team that's trying to build forward, Kuminga missing this game was more than a roster note. It was a warning light. And yet, basketball never stops to feel sorry for you. Someone has to step up. And on this night, the unexpected lift came from rookie Will Richard. He didn't play big minutes, but every second he was on the court meant something. He defended with intelligence. He rotated early. He made the right pass, the right read, the right angle. There was a calmness in his game that reminded some people of Andre Iguodala, not because he's Iggy, but because he plays with the same do whatever the team needs mentality. For a rookie to look that composed in a high-pressure road environment, that's depth Golden State desperately needs. The first half was a fight in every direction. San Antonio came into the game young, long, and physical. Three things that historically give the Warriors problems. And Al Horford, at 38 years old, looked like he found a fountain of youth in the locker room. His timing as a shot blocker was elite, disrupting drives, keeping the Spurs in it, and forcing the Warriors to adjust their spacing. Every time Golden State looked ready to open a small lead, Horford would blow up a play at the rim. It was frustrating, but it was also impressive. Credit where credit is due. But the real story began as the game tightened. The Spurs' youth and physicality started causing problems. The whistle was inconsistent. Contact was ignored on one end, magnified on the other. And in moments like that, you need composure. You need leadership. You need a superstar who doesn't blink under pressure. That's exactly what Steph became. He didn't complain. He didn't force bad shots. He simply recalibrated, adjusted to what the refs were giving him, and started dissecting San Antonio's defense possession by possession. One of the most fascinating parts of this matchup was Victor Wembanyama's defensive style. Wemby is a once-in-a-generation physical marvel. 8-foot wingspan, elite instincts, absurd coverage ability. But he defends differently than most bigs. Sometimes he plays higher than expected. Sometimes he gives more space than he should. And Steph punished every unconventional angle. The Warriors attacked him with smaller defenders at the nail, baited him into awkward switching positions, and forced him into decisions he didn't fully commit to. When San Antonio tried to recover, they were consistently late on double teams, leaving Steph the breathing room he needs to turn a tough shot into a highlight. And here's the truth. Wemby struggled. Not because he's bad, but because Curry has seen every possible defensive look for 15 years. Wemby is the future of the league, but Steph is still the present. And there's a gap, one filled with experience, intelligence, and rhythm only a handful of players in history ever reached. But the Spurs made things harder on themselves than they needed to. Their late-game decisions were questionable at best. They didn't give Wembanyama the ball on key possessions. They took rush shots. They allowed the Warriors time to set up defensively instead of exploiting mismatches early. You can't do that against a veteran team. You especially can't do that against Steph and Curry. The finishing blow didn't come only from Steph, though. Brandon Podziemski stepped into the spotlight with a performance that reminded everyone why he's one of the most valuable young players on the roster. Clutch shots? Check. Drawn charges? Multiple. Energy plays that shifted momentum? Absolutely. Pods returned to his super role player form, the guy who impacts every possession without needing the ball, the guy who turns defense into offense, the guy who gives Steph a running mate when a team needs someone fearless. This is what the Warriors have been missing. Not just talent, but timely impact. And because of performances like this, from Steph, from Podziemski, from Richard, from the entire rotation, the Warriors now have something they haven't felt consistently this season. Momentum. Real momentum. Momentum that can turn a disastrous road trip into a season-defining stretch. Momentum that can change how the league looks at Golden State moving forward. The upcoming schedule matters. The Pelicans, the Magic, the Heat. 3 teams with very different identities, very different strengths, very different defensive challenges. These games won't be easy. They'll demand discipline, health, and continued excellence from Steph. But for the first time in weeks, Golden State isn't just surviving. They're building. They're finding answers. They're rediscovering identity. And Steph Curry is reminding everyone that greatness doesn't fade when you hit 30. It evolves. It sharpens. It becomes more intentional, more technical, more unstoppable. He tied Michael Jordan tonight. But the scary part for the league is that he doesn't look done. Not even close. Now I want to know your thoughts. Do you think Steph will break Jordan's record in the next few games? How worried are you about Kuminga's knees? And what impressed you the most about this win? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Golden State Warriors News and stay with us as we follow every twist of the Golden State Warriors season. And here's the key takeaway from the channel. Delve into financial education to enhance your quality of life. Within the financial market, explore bonds and shares, particularly focusing on real estate investment trusts, which offer potential for passive income. Engage with this responsibly and consider reputable investment brokerages worldwide.